Okay, welcome back to another.
And we're back.
Yes, we're back.
We're back. This is the Anime for Everybody and one for all and all for anime podcast. And I am your host, Spear and Magic Helmet. Here with me is my sidekick, Denji. Denji, do you want to say hi to everybody?
I have the power to mute you. I'm just gonna put that out there. Is that the same? Is that the same as like who writes your checks? Because I don't write your checks, but like I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
No, you write your checks. You better check your attitude, boy.
Okay, that diversion literally lost train of thought. I am off the rail. We're just gonna review. We're here for 3 episodes unintentionally of the podcast of Chainsaw Man. We're reviewing episodes 6, 7,
6.
And wait, no, dang
5,
it, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's
7.
That's what I'm looking for. 7, 8, 9. Just
Are you sure? Did you know that 7, 8, 9?
These all kind of form a very comprehensive narrative at this point. This has gotten way cooler now. The first episode of this trio that we're gonna, I guess I'm not even gonna delve too much into it. Aftermath, Denji destroys, well, I guess he destroys the devil that's inside the building. After 2 hours of fighting it, is what they said. Mm-hmm. It seems ridiculous. But I guess if you have enough blood in you, you can do anything. He takes out the blood devil, kills at the heart. They essentially confirmed that there was a tiny piece of the gun devil in it. That's what they came there for. I guess
Just a tiny piece of the gun devil in all of us, if you really think about it.
They pretty much confirmed that's what they're there for. Yeah, I'm gonna just brush over that. I'm just gonna shiver and move on. That's all they're there for. They kill the Eternity Devil, and then the entire episode just pretty much focuses on. I almost want to sit there and say the episode ended with rape, but not really. But honestly, I could just say that.
The hell are you talking about? Are we talking about 7?
Episode 6 ended kind of in rape, and then episode 7 started in rape. I understand that nothing really happened, but at the same time, Denji is 16. That woman, I think, has got to be in her 30s.
Is there anything we don't know about Japan? Because yeah, I wondered about that, but like, what?
Well, I mean, I know that. But I guess I don't know.
Is there a different consent level, or
the age is much earlier? But I've only ever known that about marriage. Marriage is what I understand. I know this because it's definitely not 18. It's a little bit. I think it's like maybe 15. But at the same time, it wasn't like Denji asked for it. Well, I take that back. Dang it. I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable about the situation. I guess what I was sitting there saying is like
Denji's not drunk.
It's kind of reversed. It's kind of reversed because usually it's a man doing that to a woman, but this time it's a woman doing it to a guy. Like, I don't understand. She was really weird. I couldn't tell if she was sober or drunk at all. Then I mean, it looked like she was a combination of both.
It was a suggestion of statutory rape, because statutory rape is, I believe, the definition of when you have sex with a minor, assuming that 16 is minor age in Japan, which they sort of suggested is when she's like, oh, it's a good thing we didn't do anything. But he's not drunk because they specifically say that he's drinking apple juice in one spot. So I don't know how I feel about calling it rape. It's certainly questionable, but I'm not sure if rape is the direction I would leave at.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find out, I guess, what is the minor age in Japan real quick.
It's possible 16 is the age of consent in Japan, in which case
the Code of Japan provides that act of a person under 14 years of age is not punishable. Juvenile, however, juvenile refers to anyone under 20 years of age.
So sorry, what did we figure out about it?
He's a minor.
He is a minor, indeed.
Yeah, that's what it says. Anybody in Japan, in juvenile law of Japan, anybody under the age of 20 is a minor.
No.
Well, it says juvenile.
I didn't know they allowed child labor.
It says juvenile.
Yeah, I just didn't know they allowed child labor in Japan.
Well, apparently it's like apparently. Well, I mean, this is really cut, didn't she? It says any act on a person under 14 years of age is not punishable. Which kind of
but
really...
we haven't even. Are you sure that's true? Because we haven't even seen a mine in this. We haven't even seen them. We haven't even seen a mine in this show yet. What are they mining for? Gun Devil pieces? Hello?
No, I'm still here. I just got my head in my hand. Give me a minute, I gotta remove it. Just give me a minute. Ah, dang it. Okay, but
you trying to clean up some mine rooms?
Whatever it is, like I sit there say that it like he obviously didn't want it. He also apparently got vomited in his mouth from the same chick. That wasn't intentional as far as I could tell, but it just...
That was awfully nasty.
Yeah, I actually kind of scrubbed a few minutes ahead because I couldn't take it. The entire episode was like...
I was eating when that first came up, and
wow, really?
I gotta say, I would have rather seen him drinking blood and fighting the devil than watch that moment.
Well, I mean, they blurred it. It still didn't help, though. Oh, dear God. I feel sorry for Denji, because, like... It's a thought in the back of your mind when you're kissing somebody. It's like, it's possible they could vomit in you, but, you know, they're not trying to.
You've had that thought while kissing somebody? Because
No.
I certainly haven't.
I've never kissed anybody, actually, that way. Now it's like,
I don't think
That's
I don't
cross.
think that's ever come into my mind, but that's just me talking out loud, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's just like anything can come out of your stomach. It's just all about like at this everything happening around the moment. But Genji's first kiss
Yeah.
was ruined. I don't know if he was dreaming when Makima showed up or something like that.
The second kiss was all right.
But that actually happened though. Like he wasn't dreaming.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, the second time he got kissed, it was from Makima, the girl he wanted to be kissed by, and have his first time.
Oh wait, when did she kiss him? Why don't I remember her kissing him?
Because sort of Makima showed up after that.
I don't remember Makima kissing him, though.
I could have sworn I overheard her kissing him.
No, the one-eyed girl kisses him again, like a second time, and does a much better job.
Yeah, that's episode 7. Let's go to episode 8. I'm losing track of everything I'm doing right now. Okay,
Tried working the shaft.
I'm very confused. Did this actually happen?
No.
I'm sorry, Makima showing up. Did that actually happen?
Makima shows up, but she doesn't kiss him. She talks about it a lot. Who are you kissing? And he keeps trying to hide it for her while still getting a chance to kiss. And that's the joke. But he doesn't kiss Makima. He
He's
kisses.
still in episode 7. I'm talking about like I was looking at episode 8.
I don't think he ever kisses her.
I could have sworn she literally kisses him.
You could have, but she doesn't.
With an indirect kiss.
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, because someone, not to him, but somebody he gets mad because.
No, literally, she literally shoves the lollipop that was in her mouth into his mouth. Indirect kiss.
Not with him.
No,
he gets mad and calls it.
She literally shoves the lollipop that's in her mouth
you're
into
right.
his
You're
mouth.
right. You're right.
Are you okay, man? I'm literally watching it. I'm literally watching it. This is happening too. This is like if you ever want to know what it's like talking with Jock about anything, this is the conversation that we're having.
Episode 7 I watched the day after we did the podcast, and then today I went to rewatch the episodes. Watched that one and thought, this looks way too familiar. We must have watched this one and talked about it last week. And then I went and watched episode 9, which is why I watched an extra episode. I was like, there's no way. I must have watched it twice, I said, as I saw it, because it looked super familiar to what we'd already seen. And that's why I ended up actually watching the thing.
We saw him jump into the mouth of the thing, and that's where the episode ended. I actually remember that.
Right.
I got pissed off when it happened.
But then I think I saw the next one beginning with him doing that, and I was like, oh, this is the fight, and I went to the next episode. Because I don't know, I just got mixed up.
So nothing much other than vomiting in the mouth happened in that prior episode. Ugh, I'm gonna forget that. We're just gonna move on from episode 7. Episode.
Yeah,
I guess
that's the whole episode we're gonna talk about.
That was all that really happened. Episode 7 was the vomit in his mouth. I mean, he killed the demon. I already talked about that. There's not really much to talk about beyond that.
Can I talk about one thing about involving the demon that they fought? If you go back to the beginning of the episode with the fight.
I mean, I'm listening. You can keep continuing. You don't have to stop.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I said hang on because I'm getting to the point in the episode. Like, if you jump to, 40 seconds, for example, and some of the other parts where he's actually talking to the demon, at 340, for example, it's interesting. The voice of the demon is like a combination of many different voices at once, but I definitely hear the voice actor for Power as one of them. It has a lot of different voices. It sounded like they might have been doing like a mixture of the voices of the other people in the room, or at least some of them. You've got to hear parts where it's actually talking, though, to get it.
I think that's just
Something-
like them reusing voice actors, because a lot of times they'll do that. I
It might be, but it
I heard her voice, but I'm saying that sounds like, to me, it's like, I don't think it really means anything.
I wondered if that was it feeding off of their fears and becoming more powerful, and you could hear them using their
Power really
voices
experience fear?
negativity, for sure. If this thing's feeding off negativity and violent nature and stuff like that, that could be like a symbolic of it channeling their power, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. Devils can really feel other devils, though. This seems weird to me. Like, I don't know, a devil feeding another devil. I mean, I know devils can work with each other, but it's like, a devil feeding another devil? That seems kind of weird. What ultimately happens to the devil that's feeding it? Because, like, to me, I mean, I know this is not what you're talking about, but like, getting deeper and deeper in this kind of rabbit hole situation, like, devils usually appear and feed off fear of humans. That's how they exist or come into existence. What happens when the devil stops feeding off of like fear and giving it to somebody else?
It also feeds off other people's knowledge of them and a lot of other things that heighten or amplify them.
That's knowledge of fear. It's all really tied to
it's not just fear, though. It's also notoriety and
tied with the fear.
Their negativity. You see scenes in here where they fight each other, and when they're fighting each other and arguing about whether or not to throw them in the previous episode 6, you see it getting stronger just from their feelings of aggression and negativity with each other.
Yeah, also, but they all started with fear.
It didn't all start with fear, though. Sometimes it's just like one of them smacks the other or screams at the other, and you see like...
all I heard was panicking and fear in the entire exchange.
You're being a little bit close-minded here. I think it feeds off more than that. I think it feeds off all sorts of negative feelings. And I think that... I think that they might be talking as if that's the part of them that's feeding off somebody else's fear or something like that, because it's definitely a combination of a lot of stuff. And I also understand it's like 50 heads. So that probably had something to do with it. But I just thought it was interesting that unlike other demons, this one had multiple voices, and that I recognized at least one of them, and I thought I recognized more than one.
I really think that's just because they wanted another voice, and I guess they decided to use powers for whatever reason.
Yeah. They used some pretty cool characterization for this character, the one-eyed woman. Do you have her name written down?
Himeno?
Is it Himeno?
I mean,
they do a lot of character development in this episode of her to like build her up as someone that they're going to get rid of. Like, you see her kind of like change the run of the fight by like tugging on his chain when he goes down.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Now, here, without even looking any further, this first sentence here, they are creatures that feed upon humanity's fears.
Where do you see this?
On the wiki, and I'm not going any further than this.
Fine. So, anyway, let's say that's fine. I still thought it was interesting that they had Power's voice. Maybe it's just a recycling thing, but it was so prominent. And she didn't, like, the voice actor didn't try to sound like anyone else except Power, so it just struck me as an interesting note. At least something to notice. The other thing is, he actually, at the very beginning of the episode, before even the intro comes in, you see him go down. He's fighting the devil, and he gets knocked down, and then they say, "There, it is finished." And you see her use her ghost hand to pull his chain, and he gets up and fights again. So, like, that's the beginning of, like, them developing their relationship with him, because he loses, like, a hand and all that stuff, and then she pulls his chain, and he, like, kickstarts himself somehow. So they do that.
Because I was confused what happened there.
Yeah, the ghost hand comes down and pulls on his chain, and then he gets right back up.
That could be euphemism.
I'm trying to find a timestamp for it for you. He actually doesn't last that long, which makes sense because he kind of like, before he jumps in, he talks about how he's hungry and like really hungry and maybe not up to everything. And they rip one of his hands off, and it looks like maybe he grows it back, or breaks his hand, and maybe he like continues to use it. And he kind of like turns into a whirlwind, but then you see Power saying that like he's not pacing himself, he's using up blood too fast. And Power like predicts that the fight's not going to go well. And then he goes down at around... He goes down at around like 150 or so.
Power's VA
because they impale him a few times.
Much of anything I recognize.
So right around 150, they've impaled him a few times, and he looks like he's going down.
Oh, she's in Fire Force? Oh.
So then you have to skip forward to 350. And 340. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard to find the exact moment.
You don't have to worry about it. I mean, I believe you. I mean, I remember that scene where she was doing something with her hand, but I didn't know that's what she did. Literally,
she pulled his chain, yeah.
Literally
and that's
blew
somehow
past
gave him,
me,
like, a
and I
second
didn't
wind.
notice that's what she did, which actually makes sense.
So anyway,
she's charming? That's why I recognize her voice. Sorry, no.
What?
The VA for Power did another character in another anime that I watched. Actually, recently finished. I like in the back of my mind, like it wasn't like a conscious thing. I think my mind was like, I feel like I recognize her voice, but it's like, and the funny thing is too, the character she kind of plays is kind of disrespectful to an extent. So she kind of still kind of keeps that. I'm looking at all the characters she's voiced, and she's done a lot. I didn't expect to actually see Black Clover in here. Oh, she did Xeno on Dragon Ball Super. I think I can actually hear it.
Okay, so who's the devil hunter with the sword that and the fox god, the fox devil? Aki. So you also see her build like a huge past that she has with Aki, and she's been his kind of mentor, and they established that like as a history. So, and they established that she's very like close. She's sort of a touchy-feely, like even beyond that kind of character, and she's got a relationship. She's kissed everybody at least once. You see her cuddling up with Aki, and she definitely has like sort of a love relationship with him. She's got a little romantic thing that goes on with Denji, but like for her, I don't think it's purely shallow. I think she really cares about him, and she kind of like gets a kick out of him. And you see that there's other characters here too that are a little like possessive of her, like where like Denji's getting a little too close with her, and there's another devil hunter in particular that keeps stepping in, interfering with that, and being like, all right, let's leave her alone, and stuff like that. And then she had a relationship with a mentor before that, so you can even go back 2 steps to her mentor before that says she's not crazy enough, and so forth. And I think all of this is kind of like flooding into not her just building a character that's going to be relevant to Aki, but sort of like she's becoming a character. The fact that they kill her off the next episode, or they seem to, seems like that they're sort of like putting a lot in place for the other characters. Like you've got the girl with the hairpins, the really quiet one that turns out to have like some pretty sweet moves. Slowly realizing more and more that these devil hunters don't often live very long. You see that with some of the other characters too. A lot of them have scars on their faces and things like that. And with her, she's like slowly disappearing. Like she loses her eye, and then she loses an arm like not too long after that, and then the other arm, and then she disappears entirely. But she's very protective.
I'm pretty sure that because like
yeah,
she gave pieces of her to the devil.
I do too. I just meant just because it's an anime. That's why I just said supposedly, just to put a little bookmark in there just in case. But you see her being super protective of him and really, really have fully taken him under her wing to the point where she's like, I'd rather kill Denji than let him use his sword, which shortens his lifespan, things like that. There's a very like large amount of integrity between her, like beyond her initial devilishness. So I think it's kind of cool, and it's kind of cool that Denji saved them all in that episode after they chose not to kill him. So there's like a good amount, even though it's not a very eventful fight-filled fight. Like there's a lot of like interesting moments here that I think are kind of cool. You see, even down to the point where like Miss Miyako, like, am I saying her name right? Miss Miyako.
Who you talk? Who?
Pink hair, the one I think is an angel or a devil.
Makima?
Makima, thank you. Miss Makima, not Miyako. You even see her like with the lollipop scene, sort of like see the kiss happen, and then she kind of like needs to come in and make sure that she's still relevant with him, you know? Like she comes in and goes, here, let's do the lollipop thing. And the other one carries her home and throws her in her bed and everything like that, and she's drunk out of her mind, but like Miss Miyako, like,
Jeez, I didn't know she went in there and uppercutted the crap out of that man.
yeah. So, and then the whole closer, remember I said I think the closers are like sort of relevant? The whole closer is all about her, you know, with a little bit of power in there too. But it's like very sexual, and it's woman in beds and stuff like that. So I don't know, there's just like this sort of like, as we're like kind of exploring like the feeling of like what happened in the episode, you see the glowing like puke between the two of them too, which is really interesting in the closing. But I just think there's a lot here that was important. Like she became a plot device for several of the other characters. So Aki's gonna feel his loss and connection to her, and probably have her become sort of like a shining point in his memory. You know what I mean? Something to think about. And you have Denji like having like the person that was his first kiss, like give herself up entirely, like give everything she is away to protect them.
I mean, she didn't really die in episode 8.
She disappears though, like not too long afterwards.
No, I mean she didn't die until episode 8. She didn't. None of that actually happened in episode 7. I'm not sure where you were.
Right. What I'm saying is she becomes a plot device because then not too long after that she disappears. But they're spending a lot of time developing her as a character. But I think the reason they do it is not to just throw her away in the next episode, but I think they're setting up like a core memory for the other characters to like work from, you know what I mean, that impacts them all. Along with showing in the lollipop scene that like she's a little bit territorial about him. And if anything, to show how not territorial about him Power was. I'll give you the floor, I'm sorry. You like kind of wrote it off, and I was just thinking that no, I think this is all a little more relevant than that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just a filler episode where they went drinking.
The episode went down and viewable for me because of the vomit. Literally everything else went out the window. I forgot even half the for example that actually happened in episode. I mean, everything you talking about kind of like I think culminated in episode 8, but I mean, since you already kind of started with it, I might as well continue. I mean, yeah, they showed this.
Can we also talk about one quick side note here that's just a follow-up from previous episodes that I didn't fully realize until I started watching these? Remember how I said, and I noticed this before the plot line became 100% prominent, but Power has a crosshair in her eye, and I have to just look. Miss Makima had a target in her eye. Do you think that that's relevant to the fact that both of them, like they're both target and shot based symbols in their eyes, and their enemy is the gun demon.
The only one who really cares about the gun devil is Makima. The power is just there.
Okay, but the gun devil is the gun devil, and then the continued thematic elements of a crosshair eye and a target eye. I just think that's interesting.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting design wise, but it's like I mean, Makima's the only one who showed any real connection. And I mean,
yeah,
even with light connection, it's still a connection with her. Like she wants it dead. Power doesn't seem to care about it. She just does what she's told, and it's to kill the gun devil. She'll kill the gun devil. But
yeah,
this is
we have the character Power, who's more devil than human, with a gun. You know what I mean? For a gun crosshair for an eye, and the devil, the gun devil, is a devil, and she's a devil with a crosshair for an eye. And then we have Makima, who I've predicted is either a devil or an angel. And if she's an angel, she has a target for an eye, which would make her the target of the crosshair.
So, like,
or
fixated on the idea that there being angels in this thing.
I'm saying that I think Makima is either an angel or a devil. I think that.
I'm saying, but why are you so fixated on the idea of there being angels in this universe? I already kind of said I kind of find it pointless because I mean, if they were going to introduce that, I feel like they would have talked about it or made a passive
because they call them devils and not demons, and devils usually imply angels. There's usually not. I mean, devils are why there's angels, and angels are why there's devils. Like the mythology of an angel is when it falls, it becomes a devil, and the devil was an angel. So, unless all the angels have become devils, or all of the angels have been killed, a world with devils should have angels.
You say that, but devils only come into existence when fear is like, enough. They don't just they don't just fall to the earth. They just show. Now, granted, that is also kind of like
demons are the spawn of evil, and they can be spontaneously created by evil. But devils imply the difference between a devil and a demon is that a devil is from hell, which is the opposite of heaven, and a devil is a fallen angel, and it came from an angel. And that's what it is. Like, you can't have a devil without an angel unless it's just Japan being Japan. But if there weren't angels, it would just weren't angels, it would have to just be a demon.
Honestly, maybe this is me just being too little, but I mean, if that's the case, do you think they would have talked about like an explosion and then all of a sudden they just seem to the way that they've been talking, and this might just be English translation maybe messing up, but you think that they talk about there being an explosion and all of a sudden a devil just shows up out of nowhere? They make it sound like that. Then it's just enough of a fear or like a notoriety of something that people fear that they just show up. Like they just kind of spontaneously show up, like they just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm looking up on Wikipedia what a devil is, and it does say that it can just be the embodiment of evil. So it could be possible that in Japan, like, a devil does not have anything to do with God. But it's hard to think that if they were picking the word devil to make their core word instead of demon, that...
I mean, devil is the word that we have over here. It's actually Akuma is the word that they're using. That still means devil, but still. And they have multiple words for one singular word. It's weird.
And Akuma is a malevolent fire spirit.
Oh, that just means devil. What? Hold on, let me look that up.
It's also described as a category of undefined beings who brought afflictions on humans. Alternate names are often translated to devil in English or demon. Akuma is the name assigned to Satan in Japanese Christianity and the Mara in Japanese Buddhism. It first appeared in Buddhist texts.
I mean, this word is like one of the words
popular during the Heian period.
In the wiki, they say is interchangeable with it.
Mainstream usage associated the name with Christian Satan. So if the mainstream usage of devil, of Akuma, and Japanese mainstream usage is connected to Satan, then it's Satan is the leader of the fallen angels. Traditionally, the Japanese described mental illnesses as a direct result of the presence of evil spirits, particularly by Akuma. So it can go in either way. It could just be another word for demon, and the English picked the more interesting one to the translator or something. But it is connected to Christianity, and it would definitely have a Christianity implication in Japan, modern Japan specifically. So at the very least, you'd have devil in the back, like angel, the opposite of angel, in the back of your mind when you were watching it.
I mean, this may be me close-minded, but yeah, I never had that. Other than that really weird, inconspicuous-looking fellow or girl that we saw in the intro, angel never crossed my mind, or even being in this universe. Because again, it just, to me, it's like angels usually the embodiment of good. Well, where the heck are they? What I don't find pleasing story-wise is they don't mention. There is no passing. Even an ambiguous passing of the word, like, somebody asking where in the world are the angels in this universe, or something like that, or if they exist, why aren't, like, it just be one of those situations. If they did get abandoned by them, at least someone should have mentioned that they got abandoned by them. Nobody even mentions the idea of there being anything like an angel in that universe.
And that's completely valid. I just think that, like, there's something to be said about that, like that the excuse me, there's something to be said about the fact that her eye is the opposite or counterpart of the other eye, target and a crosshair, and we know that crosshair is more likely to mean devil because the devil is a gun, like pretty much literally. So it's hard to rule it out completely for me. That's all. I think that, like I said, I'm not saying there is angels. I'm just saying that between that one flash in the opening and the other part, like, that it's at least suggested that this isn't out of the question.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I know, Jeremy.
That's that. What I'm saying is, like, it just, to me, it would piss me off. It really would, if there was, because, like, to me that's bad. To me, that's a really bad story writing. Like, I'm pretty sure people probably disagree with that. I don't like the idea of them, like, throwing in an angel. To me, that just seems like they wrote themselves into a corner, and they needed a way out. Like, if they were here, like, to me, I was like, where the heck have you guys been? And this world's been in complete disarray for I don't know how many years, and you just should, because, like, the main character needs help or something like that. I don't know. It ticked me off. I would not be happy. I would completely write off the anime at that point. Yes, I'm being serious. To me, it just like if there was one like that, I'd rather have them mention it and then they throw it in there versus we're just gonna throw it in there because we can.
For what part in there? I'm sorry.
An angel just out of nowhere. And he literally after a while.
There should still be things we don't know about this series, you know?
But even like a small mention, like I don't remember seeing anything even to mention. Just like a small little aside. Like it's like something that doesn't really mean anything. Nothing that I've seen in the show thus far has like been one of those like it doesn't mean anything right now. Everything seems to have a current meaning to something happening, like not too far in the future.
Yeah, I don't feel too strongly about there absolutely being angels in here. I just haven't ruled it out as all. But I do think that there's something significant about these characters that have funky eyes. That part I feel pretty confident about.
I still just think they're just like cool character designs. I mean, there have been very few shows where designs and characters and characters' eyes mean anything. Naruto being one of them. Specifically because the entire show is all about different character designs and the eyes that activate a power. you ever get a chance, just look up Sharingan and Byakugan. Those are some of like the eye designs that mean anything, which is kind of why I start like, for me, like unless it's already stated that these eyes do something or there's a hint of there being a power in the eyes, I don't bother. They just like are really cool irises. Because you know things like that can happen naturally. I mean, there are literally there are people actually in real life. Actually, I read it somewhere that apparently there's a woman out there who has an eye pattern that looks like butterflies or something like that. It's like she's got like a really cool eye design in there. It's just something that happened to her genetically. Cool. But
So moving on, do you notice at 8:42 something I'd missed in my first watching of it? Denji sleeps on the floor instead of with the naked chick. Now, granted, she has like, you know, a tank top and underwear on, but like, she was totally ready to sleep with him. She was totally like into him. She'd been hitting on him all night. He's supposed to be the biggest hornball in the world. And at 8:42 in the time on Crunchyroll, he's sleeping on the floor with a blanket and she's spread out, you know, looking all naked and stuff with a pillow on the bed.
yeah, he wanted his first time to be with Makima.
Yeah, but that's a big sign of it right there. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't get over the fact that she had gave him a lollipop, and now he's like sleeping on the floor next to a naked chick. It's not that it's like, not that I think he deserves a medal for it, but it's a really interesting character moment for him, given like what his hopes and dreams have been right up until now.
But, I mean, I guess I want to point something out about that before we move on to, I guess, the fight that happens in this tail end here. His age, being 16, we kind of glossed over a little bit when we were talking about like rape and everything like that, but a lot of his character traits make more sense now. I thought it was just a gag.
But I mean, like,
I thought it was just a gag that he just wanted to. No, apparently he's a teenager. I didn't realize that until he said he was 16. It literally caught me off guard. Along with everybody else too, apparently. I was like, geez. So I guess he must be the youngest person they've recruited.
Yeah, for sure. But this isn't like the first time somebody's been hitting on him that's like probably way older than him. Power is probably way over than him, and Makima is definitely way older than him. So it's interesting that you're like, oh, she raped him, but like,
well, I mean, nothing really happened. He didn't really rape. Didn't really happen.
It's been like kissing and like grabbing boobs like all over the place. Like it didn't start with like her.
No, but I'm just saying, like, very rarely do you find an older woman taking advantage of a younger guy. It's usually the other way around.
Is she taking advantage of him now?
I feel like she did. I mean, she knows that he's a hornball, like you said. Most of these women know that how much he wants to touch a woman. And half the point, like, I mean, she offered the kissing. Unfortunately, he vomited in his mouth in the process. But I mean, most of these women know that he's a hornball. I mean, I feel like he's
find it interesting that this is like the person that you chose to start talking about that with, because
I mean, no, Makima took advantage of him to an extent.
I mean, Makima certainly knew how old he was. Like, even if she hadn't known when she first like did something with him, he announced he was 16 to the whole room, and like she went out and gave him her lollipop. Like, if that's not pedophilia, like giving a little boy your
that
lollipop.
Seems more innocent to me versus like
giving a little boy your lollipop so that he can remember 16. The taste of your mouth is like, that's like.
Well, I mean, like, she already knows that he's infatuated with her.
Yeah, that doesn't make it better.
I'm not saying she didn't take advantage. I'm just saying that, like,
to remember how my mouth tastes, little 16-year-old boy.
Here's the thing, though. Like, she hasn't brought him into her bedroom. She did.
She's already told him what he needs to do to have sex with her.
No, she said you could have anything you desired. That doesn't mean.
And she does say yes.
That doesn't mean.
She says yes, that includes sex. She says it word for word. Yes, that includes sex.
Yeah, but she doesn't know if that's going to be his wish.
Are you dumb?
No, I'm literally sitting there and saying that.
Are you dumb? If she didn't know that was going to be his wish, then why did she say yes? That includes sex.
Denji is going to be playing the long game here. He literally has not touched a girl his
I
entire
hope
life.
it's long. It'd be nice for him if it's long anyway.
Denji himself, I know for a fact it's not going to be sex to his wish. Guaranteed it's not going to be that with her.
It was at that moment, and that's why he asked, does it include sex? And that's why she said yes.
He said, does it include anything? Like, really anything. I don't think he literally said the word sex to her.
She says, yes, it includes sex. She cuts him off and quickly throws that out there and then keeps talking.
But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be sex with him. For right now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be that much later. For whatever reason, I get the feeling, regardless of everything he's done to this point, for whatever reason, I get the feeling he respects her too much. And if he doesn't know it yet, he's going to find out much sooner than he does. I suspect that there's a little bit more. I don't
think this is disrespect. I think he thinks a lot of her. And I think it's very clear.
He's going to want his first time with her to mean something.
You can say that, but he said, I want her to be my first.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure, considering how young he is and how he's not done it with anybody, he wants to make sure he's ready for that. Because he could have taken up. Here's the thing: he's a 16-year-old guy. He's impressionable. He's got testosterone and everything like coming out of his pores. And as you said before, she was literally, what's her name again? Himiko? Himeno, yes. Himeno literally was offering it twice. Even asked him again.
He was getting excited about it. He was going to let her take off his pants, and then she found the lollipop, and that was like, she's like, what's this? And he's like, oh yeah, I can't have sex with her. She's got like.
With that, I'm pretty sure. I think he really wants to make sure, this first time with,
they
Makima
show
means
the
something.
Bulge in his pants in the anime.
Look at his bulge.
Because it was right there in the center of the screen between her hands when they were doing the sex scene.
I am positive that that what he's looking for is not going to be that. It's probably something else. Because he wants to kiss Makima.
At the moment,
he wants to
motivation.
Kiss Makima. So I'm pretty sure
at the moment he was already motivated by sex. That's why she finished his sentence, and that's why he didn't say no, I didn't mean something else.
Yeah, but when the idea of a kiss from Himeno after that first, when Himeno offered a kiss to him, he was thinking he wanted his first kiss to be with Akima.
But
and
he was taken away by him. You see the moment of conflict in the bar beforehand when she goes, were you going to kiss Makima or Himiko? And he goes, hell no. And she's like, oh, but I wanted to. You don't want to? And he's like, hell yes. Like, he's got conflict going on there, and maybe that's why he didn't do anything at that moment. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it showed more depth to him. I think it showed some character development, because I don't think that's the way he would have gone, in episode 1.
That's what I don't think that his wish that he wants to get granted, when Makima does grant him that wish, it's going to be the duel with her at that exact moment. That's all I was saying. I think he developed to the point where he really wants whatever he's doing with her to actually progress. He wants a girlfriend at the end of the day. He's willing to push that for it.
I think he's headed in that direction with his character, but I just thought that was really interesting that he went as far as to sleep on the floor instead of on the bed,
Yeah, but that's where we went before we come back. We'll circle to the bed to him sleeping on the floor.
Yep.
Moving on.
Can we also talk about how badly her right leg is drawn in that scene?
We're gonna move on. So
No. Look at 842.
No, we're moving on. Right. Like, there's no point to it. Why?
Put her leg close to the window. It's like a squiggle. Like, she's got 7 different bones that she shouldn't have in that leg. It's shorter. It's shadowed weirdly. Her foot is combined with the animation of the bed itself. That's the worst leg.
Moving on. Let's see here. After the whole incident, I guess we say incident in Himeno's room, she treats him to a lunch before he walks out. Says that most guys probably would have ran out screaming after what happened with them last night, but he's like, it'd be weird if the guy didn't walk off when he's offering breakfast. thought it was an interesting way to say that.
One does not simply walk away from free breakfast.
Then we go from that scene to pretty much what looks like the entire city. We're seeing, like, I guess, devil hunters, you know, walking around helping people out, and then apparently lots of people with guns that they don't completely explain yet. Because later on we find out that apparently only devil hunters are able to be issued guns, so it's even weirder that civilians seem to have guns themselves.
Plenty of people have guns, and the devil is a gun. I mean, the devil that they're trying to fight is a gun. So I think we're kind of beyond that point. It might be like a legal distribution thing, but I think any criminal that wants a gun gets one.
I'm just saying they make a point saying that devil hunters are the only ones that could be issued guns, so they weird out that they're civilians so they can have them. I'm pretty sure there is some illegal smuggling going on. I'm just sitting there saying that they make it a point to show up to say that no civilian should have a gun in this world unless they are, you know, of some special, some special title. Then we cut away from all that. Apparently, lots of people being shot to them eating in a ramen noodle shop.
Interesting. They're shooting people, and the devil that we know has crosshairs for an eye.
I still believe Bakemon's a freaking human. It just has context with really powerful devils.
Oops, did I say all that out loud just now?
Which we pretty much got confirmation of in episode 9. I'm just pretending I didn't hear what you said.
You didn't. I didn't say anything. What are you talking about?
But essentially, they cut away to the ramen shop, and they're eating ramen, and all of a sudden some guy in a window, sitting over by the window talking about how bad this ramen is, and he's talking directly to Denji this entire time. I thought it was weird. I mean, and he's saying Denji, the way he was talking, it sounds like he knew Denji somewhat a little bit, and then he confirms that the guy, the boss that blackmailed Denji from episode 1 was his father or grandfather? I wanted to make sure, so we make sure. Does he confirm what he confirms?
Do you think the old woman that shot him wanted to? Or do you think she was being controlled or manipulated?
I have no idea. I was kind of wondering what was happening with all these gunshots because it seemed kind of like on purpose. It's possible that maybe the gun devil's nearby. It is really possible.
She has sort of a weird, blissful look on her face, like she's happy and doing something wholesome.
I mean,
even when she turns around and they're not looking at her, like it doesn't seem like a disguise. Because like when he's got his back turned to her and she could, you know, that would be the time that her true nature would come out if she was like malicious, but she still has that sweet old granny look on her face. It's very surreal.
I'm gonna say maybe the gun devil is just closer by than people think. Considering that everybody seems to be after Denji's heart.
But isn't that, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that at least the second time in this series that an assassin attempt has shown somebody with like that weird look in their face?
I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. When was somebody trying to be assassinated before?
I'm not sure I can remember, but I thought there was another scene where somebody had that like same kind of look on their face when they shot at somebody. But I can't think of where it would be now.
I'm gonna go on the limb and say the gun devil probably has control over people with guns.
Definitely possible.
I probably thinks the gun devil. Shoot, I can't. He's either his grandfather or is his father. We'll not go with probably his father, but what's important here is that he shoots Denji in the face, and Denji's on the wall somewhere, and then power comes out of nowhere and just shoryukens him in the face, apparently sending him through the building, along with Aki using the Fox Devil. Oh, apparently, that's another thing I should bring in now when I'm talking about the Fox Devil. Apparently, the Fox Devil has multiple contracts, so Aki isn't the only one who can summon it.
It gets around.
Apparently, it's very. Apparently, I guess it's like a dog. You know, it's really friendly with devils. Like devil hunters will partner with anybody, which is interesting. So, like, I guess there must be multiple types of devils that are like that. That are willing to partner with devil hunters. I thought that was intriguing that they brought up.
And they have contracts with more than one person at the same time, and yeah. it seems like they can have as many contracts as they want, as long as they don't. I'm sure as long as they don't conflict with one of the other existing contracts.
And speaking of, after the fox eats the guy, she brings up the point that you gave me something really disgusting to eat this time. This thing is neither a human or devil. And when that happened, I was very confused at that. And then all of a sudden, he breaks through the fox's head. I'm guessing the fox is still alive, I hope. But we see that apparently this guy has a blade for a face and blades coming out of his arm. He is literally the epitome of Chainsaw Man, but I guess he's Sword Man. That's really lame, actually.
I don't know if it goes so far as to use the word epitome, but he
looks exactly like him. The only thing that's different is the blades. He looks exactly like him. And maybe the teeth.
He's like the Soviet Union version or something. Yeah. No, he's the exact same thing. Epitome would mean Chainsaw Man brought to his greatest possible extent. And I don't know if I would go that far because he's definitely like vulnerable, but
I mean, here's the thing. I guess
epitome means like it's like the greatest actualization of Chainsaw Man, and I think Chainsaw Man will eventually become tougher than this guy.
Yeah, I guess I could agree with that. Well, not I guess. I can't agree with that. But so far this guy is like we've been looking for a fight where Chainsaw Man wasn't like over. Oh, yes, his cat's here.
Sorry.
That's
he was sitting on my chest, and then I moved a little bit, and he ran off, and I was trying to call him back.
Is your door open?
No, I'm in the living room.
Oh, okay.
Because my son's sleeping next to my office tonight.
Oh.
So I moved to the living room with my laptop rather than potentially wake him up.
Okay.
Or say something inappropriate that he might hear.
That's actually kind of sweet of you.
Thanks, man.
Considering all the crap you do to him on a daily basis when he's awake. Sorry, that probably shouldn't be on the podcast. I'm sorry, people ignore that. But
no, I'm a good dad.
For the record, what I'm talking about, he's like, he just jokes around with him. Nobody panic. Nobody call CPS on him. I will
feel
find
like
you.
Just making it worse.
Yeah, I know. I felt like making it worse too. But continuing, essentially, we got to the point you've been asking for it, Jock. You know, the fight that's apparently going to be tough for him. Clearly, this guy is outclassed him a little bit right this minute. I'm guessing that this guy has access to way more power in this form than Denji has in his Chainsaw Man form. I don't know what he's done or what he's doing.
I thought the difference was experience. He seems very experienced. He doesn't necessarily seem like he has more raw power. In fact,
you say that, but then that little snake girl is apparently telling him what he's doing wrong.
The little snake hero is backing him up too. Like he doesn't. Aki wasn't fighting one devil. He was fighting two powerful characters, or at least one smart one and one powerful one. So Aki did a lot of damage to that thing, given that it was a 2-on-1.
I guess I just feel like I feel like the Sword Man has just got access to a little more of his abilities than Denji does right this minute. He will get access to more of his abilities. I'm guessing whatever those abilities are. It's clear that whatever's going on with Denji is going on with more than just him.
Sure.
So apparently this must be a being that nobody's got an actual recorded name for, because they're clearly saying, "What are you?" They've done that several times at this point. What are you? Because no one knows what he is, and now we have a second person who's actually just as tough as he is. Maybe just a tiny bit tougher. Mainly because Denji didn't see him coming, and I think he lost some blood before he transformed that time. Because after everybody gets sent to the wall, and Aki tries to do his thing, which I guess I got confirmation there too, that in fact there's a devil attached to that sword, and apparently it's the cursed devil, which is interesting. Apparently he's stabbed whatever he's trying to kill multiple times before it's able to consume it. Unfortunately, it didn't work this time, but I guess it's nice to know. But I'm guessing, does that mean that his lifespan has been cut in half?
They say shortened. I never saw a moment where they had a clear definition of what shortened means.
It sounds like she's, at least Himeno made it sound like it would significantly shorten his life. And significantly means that he's closer to dying than he is to living long.
Yeah.
This is how I take it. Now that may be too literal of it taken, but it's like, I mean, he doesn't seem to care that much about his life based on if he's using it. But yeah, that guy, that sword guy was not only a shock to me to see, I guess it shouldn't have been, but he was definitely a formidable opponent. I guess he's gonna fight. Either he's gonna die to somebody else, or he's gonna come back and fight Denji. Though he said he's gonna be out of commission for a while. I guess speaking of that, the fight pretty much ends with him cutting Denji in half while Denji is playing the bad man, using his comrade as a shield. Clearly that didn't work. I guess speaking of eyes, that girl with the blonde hair, the one with the snake, you think she's a devil?
Can we also point out the similarity between the one with the snake and the wolf spirit one? It's basically the same contract that she has with the snake.
Yeah, but this
so
is
we
a
have
devil.
but we have like Aki and Chainsaw Man here versus like evil Aki and evil Chainsaw Man. Instead of a wolf, it's a serpent, but its function is the same: grab and swallow. And Chainsaw Man is the same thing, except now it's swords instead of a chainsaw, but like functionally the same basic thing. They seem experienced and calculating, but they don't seem wildly different to me.
I mean, she's a little bit nicer to her partner than Aki was.
Huh?
I mean, he said similarities. I know in attack, but I'm just saying, like, the difference for me is like she seems a lot nicer to her partner than Aki was to Denji.
Well, at the
first.
same time, Aki took a bullet for him.
But that was much
Aki
later.
threw himself in harm's way. I know, but like right now, it's like the two of them, like versus like a more experienced version of the two of them.
I still don't know if that Blade guy is more experienced, because like, I mean, it sounds like he doesn't know how to fight. Based on the way she's talking to him, she's kind of like berating him, like, this is what you did wrong and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like he's used to this. Maybe he's been this way longer, but maybe he's just never been in a serious fight with somebody else like him.
Maybe
it's possible he has been in a fight with somebody like him, which means I wonder how many people are like these two that exist in this world.
Yeah, I thought it was established that this was a pretty rare thing.
Well, I mean, in anime, when they say something's rare, it's going to be everywhere else later.
Yeah, as they get deeper into like the lore.
They do say something's rare. Do you see? I mean, I'm almost willing to bet, and I've been wondering this for a while. I'm willing to bet the gun devil, is the exact same way, which is why they can't catch him. I'm willing to bet that he's got like a pistol for a face, and then like, I guess whatever, like some like very long tank weapon barrel in his hands. I'm willing to bet that's what he's like. Because it doesn't make much sense for a devil to be able to be hiding so often. It sounds like this thing is more intelligent than they're, willing to, they're willing to acknowledge. And Makima has been chasing this thing for a while, and based on this next episode we're going to talk about, she's really freaking powerful. So it's like, I don't know how it's been able to escape her. So it's obviously, it must be really intelligent. Well, far more intelligent than anything else we've seen. But, yeah, for instance, like, he cuts Denji in half, but not before he gets into a conversation with Himeno and her poltergeist devil. And as Doc has already eloquently put, she ends up dying. This is her swan song episode where she ends up dying. I just think she's dying, because, like, I mean, you can't just give a piece of your body, all your body, and survive that. I could be wrong, but I don't think she's coming back from this, considering that they go through the trouble of letting us know that nobody survives this job for long. They keep bringing that a lot of people die.
I completely agree with you, honestly. I just... yeah, I completely agree with you.
But yeah, she ends up dying. I actually felt really bad for her, too. I actually was like, I almost cried as she was dying, because I was like, are you serious? They're gonna kill her here?
But like I said, I think she's a plot device. I think that this is a core moment for the characters after this.
I bet it's more a core for Aki than Denji. Though I mean, Denji
Well,
only woke up to find he was very confused about what's happening. Now maybe if he gets
Denji had
told what
a
happens.
short and very like Denji had a short and very like important relationship with her. You know, like
I don't think he knows she's dead. I think when he woke up wondering what's going, he literally said, "What? I don't know what's going on here. I think you're the bad guy." I don't think he realized that she's gone.
But that doesn't mean that he's going to find out that she's gone, and it's going to be a core moment for him. You know what I mean?
I guess I can see that happening. I'm just saying that right now, this one moment, I was like, honestly, for me, when I was looking at what's happening in my face right there, Aki was the one who seemed to take her death the hardest right this minute. Now,
yeah.
Clearly is when he finds out that she is gone. I'm pretty sure he's going to be hit hard too. Whatever it's going to do to his character, we'll see.
But like in the meantime, Denji, like, she saved his life with the chainsaw moment. She joked around with him. She showed a lot of power. She thought there was a lot of good things about her. They had that sort of camaraderie where they were the two capable ones when everybody else was freaking out. Like, and they were trapped in that infinity. He went to sleep. She took guard and kind of took over. She woke him up and said, "We've got to be the two competent ones here. Everybody else is a mess." He saved her life by defeating that creature. She went back and forth about whether she was going to kill him or like save him. They brought him to a bar. She puked in his mouth. Like they kissed, and that was his first kiss ever. They almost had sex. He slept on the floor and had like a core character development moment for him where like he like realized like what his values were and what he really wanted at that moment after being confused all night about like how like turned on he was by her. He like, it's super intense, you know what I mean? Like, I could keep going. Like, he had this very, very intense experience with her, and it's hard to completely write that off. Like, he was like, he spent the night with a girl, you know what I mean, at her place. Like, he was with a drunk girl. He was a gentleman. They had that bonding moment in the morning where she was like, well, let's make an alliance then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look out for me while like I'm trying to get Aki, and I'll look out for you like while you're getting Miss Makima, even though I think she's kind of a douche. Like, there's like a really cool series of plot developments, and then she dies. You know what I mean? He's down, like Aki's down, and she literally gives everything she has. Every molecule of her body is gone, like put into the fight. And I think that's gonna have an impact on him, even though he wasn't in love with her, because he talks so much at the beginning of the episode about how he's never had a friend before. Do you know what I mean? And then she just like literally sat down and formally proposed that they become friends and that they watch each other's back and stuff like that. And they were already it was redundant at that point because they'd already been watching each other's back. And I have a hard time thinking that's not going to have a big character impact.
I mean, I wasn't saying that. I would just say at that exact moment, her death had more impact on Aki. Now, I'm not saying it won't have an impact on him, but right that minute, all Denji knew was that people were in trouble and he needed to be that guy to be savior, quote unquote. Fortunately, that didn't work out for him because he got cut in half. Now, I mean, obviously something's gonna happen. I don't know what he's gonna do or what's gonna do his character when he finds out that she's gone. But I suspect Aki's gonna be out of the picture for a little bit because I'm pretty sure he emotionally is wrecked. It's really weird that we got a chance to see what his sword does, and it didn't do, I guess, ultimately what it was supposed to do. It was also kind of weird with that whispering lip counting backwards. It's like clearly the timer started.
Whose sword?
Aki's sword.
Oh, I thought the timer was part of the ability of the sword when she counts.
That's what I'm saying. When he stabbed her, the curse was a part of the sword. I think he made a contract with the curse devil, and the curse devil was a power attached to the sword.
Yeah.
As I'm saying, like, it was kind of weird with when he stabbed him the first time the counter started. Literally, you saw the count. You literally heard the counting happening as he was doing it. He even yells, "You gotta get rid of this now, curse!" So I don't know what a curse is right now, or if it's in wherever the heck it is. I guess that's a good question. Where are these guys when they're not being summoned? Where are they actually residing? But yeah, pretty much Himeno. I want to bring up before we move on to episode 9. How creepy was Himeno's like ghost devil? It was a giant woman's face with stitched lips and stitched eyes. It looked like it looked almost like the what's her name from the Ring?
Oh, the girl from the Ring.
Yeah, it looked almost like her.
7 days. And to me, it looked just like another standard Japanese traditional. What is it? There's a type of drama that it is a NOH drama demon, which is a type of Japanese play that features demons.
It mostly reminded me of the girl in the Ring. I mean, not as creepy and it's not as messed up as the Ring, but still, it's mostly arms, so we definitely now know it has more than just 2 arms. We were debating that last time.
I'm glad that we got to the bottom of that.
I don't know if we wanted to get to the bottom of that, if I'm being honest. I didn't expect to see this thing, and then it's like, this is obviously a worse way to die. This is like, you see this and you're dying. Yeah, you're messed up for the rest of your non-life.
You're gonna have a bad day for sure.
Oh dear, but that was creepy. I was like, oh dear, that's what she's contracted with? Good gracious, I can only imagine how that confrontation went.
I do kind of occasionally wonder, like, how does one find a ghost demon and get a contract with it?
I can only imagine that maybe it was causing panic or somewhere, and or ghosts apparently were something that people were fearing the most at the time. I'm guessing it wasn't as violent as it appeared. I mean, basically, it was kind of weird considering how peaceful it kind of seemed like it was. It didn't do anything unless it was told. It didn't give her a lot of lip. When she was telling it to go after the Saw Man, not Saw Man, but the Sword Man, she literally said, "I'm not going anywhere near that snake girl." Like both times, a couple of devils saying, "I'm not getting anywhere near that girl." With there's something strange about her. I don't know what's going on with her, but she's apparently strong enough to cause devils to be afraid. So, but it's kind of weird that she seemed like, again, it's like I guess she's one of those devils that just seems to, I guess, get along with humans. I wonder, does that mean we're never gonna see her again?
Devils definitely seem bad more often than good, but they do seem like
I think they're more self-serving.
Seem like they make themselves useful at the very least from time to time.
Yeah, I think they're just mostly self-serving. I'll do something for you as long as you give me a piece of your body, is basically what I'm getting from.
You sound like a guy at a bar.
Jesus. Moving on to episode 9. We're continuing from the devastation from the last episode. Well, actually, they probably want to show us the death of Himeno again. I don't know why they want to show us that. Oh shoot! Also, he's got blue. Does she got blue blood, or does the devil guy got blue blood?
It's fairly.
Oh yes, it's the devil. Never mind. It's the poster guy. It's the ghost devil. Never mind. Okay, I was like wondering who's got the blue blood.
Usually white people.
Okay, I don't know what that was, so we're just gonna move on.
Do we want to mention the fact that he held that guy for hostage and he was holding him up to himself in the sword?
That's what I
the
said.
guy
Like,
with the sword.
I already mentioned that. Like, he first Genji had one of his, "I'm gonna be the bad guy" for a few seconds to get this guy to, I guess, lay down his weapons. I guess I want us to say, like, based on him, is like,
doesn't that kind of undermine the huge counter assault that Makima made?
How's to undermine it?
Because Makima kills off their entire team basically, but like, what the heck do they care?
No, Makima killed like convicts.
Okay, sure. She kills convicts.
she literally killed. I mean, I know she took some life, period. But I'm saying what she did was she literally just got a couple of people in jail who I guess were on death row, based on the way they were feeding them.
But it wasn't much of a counterattack when you consider that that they were just like throwing their own team away like that.
I don't know if it was really meant to be. Like, it didn't come off to me as that sword guy was like, and he was like, like I'm gonna kill everybody here. I think maybe it was more of like it was a casualty of war. It didn't seem like he was really there. He really wanted to kill that guy. He just killed him because he knew that it was the only way to get Denji and capacitated.
Yeah, but it certainly didn't seem to break his heart. So it was interesting that, like, given that we were kind of told that, like, that was a big deal, you know what I mean? Like, given that it's like it's a flex of her powers, like in the show, that she was able to do that. But then we see that, like, they're killing their own people anyway. So, like, you're just like, oh, do they really care? Was it really a big deal to them, or are we just kind of making it up?
I'm very confused. Are you talking about like are you talking about the way Makima powered her powers, or are you talking about the people that she killed with her powers?
I'm talking about the people she killed with her powers. Like, it seems like it wasn't probably that much of a loss to them because they're killing their own teammates anyway.
I don't know. It seemed like that snake girl seemed really concerned that Makima was still alive. I mean, it seemed like they really wanted to kill Makima.
She was concerned that Makima was still alive, but she didn't seem especially concerned that they lost their people.
I mean, you don't really know that. I mean, it was probably one of the. It can be easily said that, like, even though she didn't show any remorse, which is probably possible, they don't really care. I mean, I think how those people that were a part of this operation knew they were going to die. Whether they're going to die today, it probably didn't really matter, or they're going to die later. Honestly, it sounds like all this is really for. I think all this is really for was to get Denji's heart, which I don't know why they just don't reach in there and take it and just leave his body behind. I'm very confused at their process of collection.
What do you suppose they're going to do with the heart?
I'm guessing the gun devil wants to eat it. As for why he wants to eat it, that's the question I don't have. I mean, that's the answer I don't have.
I think they want his heart because he's a threat to the gun devil. Like, is it possible that the heart just means that they're sure that he's dead?
No, I feel like if it's a gun devil, he probably wants to eat it. It's probably gonna, like I said before, what Denji seems to be special for some reason. Because they literally send another guy like him to capture him. Apparently, they are very positive that only, I guess, people like them can fight and capture another one of their own. That makes me wonder, is it possible that Pochita is a type of devil that appears harmless on its own, but only becomes really powerful when it bonds with somebody?
I don't know.
Because I was looking and I was like, did he have a little pet demon dude with a sword in his face? Like, what happened?
Why not?
Here?
Maybe he had a katana come on.
Thank you for that. I'm willing to bet that it wants to eat it, or it wants to assimilate with it. It's one of the two. It wants to combine with Denji's heart for some reason. I highly doubt, like, they just want to, because, like, if that was the case, to take the heart and leave the body behind, they really wanted to take Denji's corpse over there with them. I feel like it would have been more if it was really just to show that he was dead. They should take his heart there, leave his body behind. His body is just gonna go on a dead weight.
And bring his heart in 3 pieces or something. Yeah.
It seems very evident that whatever it is, they really want Denji's heart for something, and they want to make sure that, I guess, it's still beating or whatever. So that Eternity Demon really wanted his heart too, so it's possible that Denji's got something going on there that we don't know about. Maybe Pochita is more special than we know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it would make sense. Like Pochita specifically is special, and apparently it maybe because actually when Pochita showed up, when we saw that flashback, Pochita was hurt, right? Because he first showed up when we saw the flashback when Denji first ran into him, Pochita was like maybe on death's door.
Yeah, it was almost dead, and then he had to feed it blood to save its life.
Something happened to it before he even got there. Whatever that is. I mean, it could have been a double hunter, which I guess is what we're supposed to assume, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's an interesting insight that like something extra happened there. You assume you're just like, oh, that's what devils do. They get beat up, they fight, they cause problems. But it's very possible that they were hunting after that thing already. And then it would have kind of like been covert if it was hiding inside of them. It would have been hard for them to track it down.
I will say either it's like they want Denji's heart because he's special, or they want Denji's heart because Pochita is special. It's one of the two. I mean, both of them are the same thing, but I'm just saying that it's whatever. They really want Denji for whatever reason. It's kind of interesting that this is the plot that we're going with, is that we want his heart. I like to know what this gun devil looks like and why is he so like, why are these devils so because that other devil that ate the sword dude said that it tasted disgusting, so maybe it isn't eating, maybe it's something else. Like apparently whatever he is isn't appetizing. Let's see here. Besides Makima showing up and becoming...
Devils do spend a lot of time talking about the taste of the things they eat, huh?
Yeah, they're gourmets.
But I just realized that, like, they're just like almost every time, like Chainsaw Man talked about like how the blood tasted bitter, but like right now it tasted like strawberry jam or something like that. And then we have the time when his blood was eaten by the devil, and they talk about what it tastes like. Devils seem to be foodies.
Yeah, the gourmets. I guess we want to talk about this too. Apparently, last episode I think this was that Makima was on her way to Tokyo for some like meeting with some old dudes, and apparently her escort her gets shot, both in the head. In this episode, we see the train that she was on pull up. Everybody's running off of there, and Makima shows up, and she's covered in blood. And all she tells the people waiting for her there is, "I managed to avoid getting killed."
Yeah, and then they do a quick shot inside of the train, and there's like the four guys that have pulled the guns on her have like cannonball-sized holes in their chest.
This is pretty much where I was like, she's got to have a really freaking powerful devil on her contract.
Yeah, or she's one herself.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, she could be.
What do you think about that parallel where they show the feet of the sword devil, and then they pan up, they cut scene, and it's the same basic feet, but then they pan up and it's her instead of the sword devil.
To me, it's like maybe she's got more hidden underneath than we know. Like maybe there's.
Why is she wearing baggy pants though? Like, because then she like gets off the train and she gets into more snug clothing. Why is she wearing baggy pants?
Was it baggy pants?
Yeah.
That's how I'm watching you, just making sure when she's walking up.
It was just strange.
I didn't really pay attention because I know like when she was changing in the temple, they were paying a lot of attention to the detail of her clothes. I was wondering what was going on there.
When she gets out, her pants are baggy, and then like you think it's the same scene for a second when she gets off and the train opens, because they show the legs of the other guy, and then she's getting off the train, and you see
maybe her power has to do with something her being naked.
I wondered if they were drawing a connection between her and the sword guy.
I think that's something to do with maybe her power and her skin.
I don't know. I don't know why it would change her clothes though.
She probably changed her clothes. Maybe something happened to her when she was on the thing.
I'm just to remember that. I remember
she says the blood is in hers that's on her clothing either.
Well, we know that from her being in the thing. Like, you see a gunshot and blood gets splattered on her. But when you see her pants, she's wearing a cloak. And at like 8:46, she's wearing pants that are bunching down around her feet. She's wearing boots and she's got a bloodstained cloak. And the way it was set up, I thought she was the guy at 717 for a minute, because I don't remember exactly where, but I remember they showed his feet and he had the same kind of boots and pants on, and cloak for that matter. Or like if you go to 654, and we see him kind of melt, so we know he specifically is not. And he has a different boots and everything now that I look at it, but he had like a cloak and baggy pants on and different shoes, but like it made me think that they were the same person for a split second until they pan up and they show the rest of her body.
She was having skin on her parts of her body. Maybe she took them off or something like that, and in the midst of all that, they got shredded. It's possible she took the clothes off of somebody else in that thing. At least she took the clothes off of her attending. It's possible that maybe like when she used the power on that train to get away from all the bullets, it tore through her clothes or something like that.
It's pretty freaky because like her eyes are like completely expressionless. Her tone is expressionless. You know, the whole thing is freaky. And then she proceeds to kill like a dozen inmates to take out a dozen targets, which is morally dubious. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get why they have to do it, but it's morally dubious.
I'm sorry, there's something on her body that we're not supposed to see yet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's her skin or something like that.
Like they really go out of their way to show how really go out of their way to show how tight her clothes are. If you cut to like 10:59.
Yeah, I know.
And watch her dress.
I'm just saying that I think
they're defining her butt. Like you can see her butt, like everything about her butt, and then they cut to her breasts, and you can see everything about her breasts. And like they're kind of and her pants are not bunched up. They show her socks, and the bottom of her pants, and they're not baggy. And it's like the third time they've shown her like finishing dressing, or at least the third time they've focused deeply on her clothing.
Maybe she gives a piece of her skin to the. Well, I guess not. But again, why does she use this? Why does she use the convicts as sacrifices?
So that she doesn't have to use anybody useful or valuable to society, or that will be missed.
Is there another devil that she's contracted with?
Well, I think if she is contracting with devils, it's pretty obvious she's contracted with several. Aki's contracted with like 3.
3.
Yeah,
I know the fox. I know the cursed sword thing, but the third one?
When I looked up his name in Google Bard, it said 3. I didn't read what the third was, but I know there's 3.
Oh.
That's not much of a spoiler since I don't know what the third one is. But
maybe the third is connected to a sword again? I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Himeno didn't make a big deal out of it when he was using the sword. So maybe he's got another contract with the sword.
Yeah.
Hello, Elazabar.
Hey, Elazabar. I was just thinking about Elazabar today. I haven't seen him in a long time. I had talked to him.
Based on the way that these guys like die, and they go out of their way to really explicitly show you how they're dying, they get crushed like they're underneath the foot of some giant elephant or something. Like how you would die if you're underneath something like that was like several tons your weight.
Right.
I mean, that might just be me interpreting, but it's like the way they die. It's like it's not like everybody else. We've seen devils eat people before, but this is like on a different level. And then she's at the temple.
It's kind of like they It's almost like they implode and then explode. Like they or something like that. But the way she's moving her hand,
their head goes in and then they just explode.
But the way she moves her hands, it's almost like they twist and explode.
It's possible. I mean, devils are not small. We know that for a fact. We clearly know they're not small, but they're not even human size for that matter. So I mean, It's possible that whatever it is twisting. Because I mean, she's at the temple over here talking about like this is as far as she can be, or this is this distance is, I guess, is like as close as she can be without having to rush to their rescue. She's like praying.
This is what I
Almost.
can do without being on site. It's basically what she's saying.
It sounds like she's praying. Like in that sound, but she looks like she's kind of like doing a little bit of a prayer vigil, something like that going on with the way her hands are clasped together. And then, as you said, she is moving them almost like she is doing something. So like this devil has gotta be like big. Like, I would honestly have to say huge.
It's got like a voodoo vibe to it, kind of.
And she's very strong. She literally sacrifices like 12 guys to do what she does here. I thought she asked for 32, but maybe I misheard. But she used like several lives to do what she did here, and she doesn't seem to care that much either. Though she used felons for this.
She used felons. It's weird how like willing they are to cooperate. She's like, say their name, and they say the name. They're not, and they heard someone thunk next to him. Like the 12th guy hears someone thunk next to him like 11 times in a row and not make any more sounds, and he's still like is perfectly obedient about it.
Yeah, I don't think he knew what he was there for. I mean, when they were taking these guys to the temple, the people who was driving said, "Shut up and eat." That's all you're supposed to do.
This isn't exactly an orderly group, though. You know what I mean? These are murderers and people that have been in there for life and stuff like that. And they're all just sort of like,
yeah, but
chilling,
I don't think maybe they know they're gonna. Maybe they know in somewhere in their brains, in their heart that they're gonna die. But I'm pretty sure it's like they don't know where they're going. I mean,
do you think that there's some level of thrall going here, that they're in thrall of them?
Sorry,
Thrall, not enthrall, just thrall. In other words, like being controlled. Like, do you think that she's like getting them to cooperate whether they like it or not?
I mean, I guess she doesn't seem like she doesn't. It doesn't seem like she's somebody who doesn't like using force. I mean, just how she got Denji to follow her.
She's like sounds like someone that doesn't get bothered by literally anything at all. Like she's always got that smile. She kills 11 people, and every time she bows down to one, she's got that little smile and everything, and she's serene and happy about everything she does. She's like practically a cyborg sometimes. Say his name.
I mean,
okay,
even though it's clearly doesn't have a favorable outlook on her. Yeah, like, I mean, she literally says that Aki is into her too, and she doesn't understand why. So clearly she knows something, and unfortunately she took that to her grave. Whatever that was.
Sure.
It just seemed like she either knew something about her or she was suspicious about something. I guess I should say she was very suspicious about her. But she's the only character that's shown any suspicion about her. Everybody else seems to like worship the ground she walks on. Some more than others. But I don't know why I did that, but after all of that, she literally just destroys everybody just by standing on a temple. We go back to crazy chick that wanted to murder Denji. You already brought this up too. Apparently, she's very skilled at fighting. I remember actually sitting here saying, "Who gave her a knife?" And I'm glad she did. I think Josh was here for that statement.
Yeah, it's weird how easily the knife was disarmed from her, though. Like maybe her heart wasn't really in it at that moment.
Oh, good.
Because right now, her heart wasn't in killing him at that moment, because like she let the knife go out of her hand, and I feel like she could have taken out most of that room if she was properly motivated.
I want to point that out. With all the help of contracted doubles, he took out everybody in that vicinity.
Yeah.
I'm like,
after everybody, it took like a group of them like a long time to kind of injure that guy. She comes on the scene and the guy's like fleeing the scene, like, and she's taken out both of them and was running on top of the snake devil like it was nothing. and just being sort of a beast,
I
dodging bullets pretty much. The guy's like, "What is she, a monkey?"
I know I said jokingly last time we were reviewing this, like, she's probably gonna be one of those characters that are gonna be like really shocked at what she can do. I know I said that
Yeah,
jokingly, but I think actually it kind of came to fruition.
it absolutely did. Yeah,
I'm like,
and then she
okay.
cries at the end, and you're like, "Okay, lady."
Yeah, I will say, like, I sit there and say, like, I don't know who gave her a knife, but I'm glad they did. But at the same time, it's like it didn't do her good. Granted, it didn't really matter because she did a couple of headshots and scared of you. Like, I'm surprised at how talented she is.
The way she took out that old lady too, like flipping around him and then making her shoot himself, the lady shoot herself in the head.
Yeah, she has a talent for this. She has like a knack for this. The way she acts, you think she doesn't. Like the way she acts, you think she doesn't. So it's like, okay, you have a knack for this. I know you don't want to do this, and your parents are horrible, but
she's like dark Uraraka. Uraraka's like, I fight to make money for my family, and that's what she does too, but it's like so much different with her.
I guess you can say that. Dang it. That's actually horrible. That's a horrible comparison. Dang it. Oh, dude is my favorite character. Jeez. Oh, I hate you for that. I hate the comparison, and I see it. I hate everything about it. But
because even their like little sweet innocent like personality on the exterior is like the same.
Well, I mean, Uraraka really wants to do what she does, though. Uraraka is happy and wants to do what she's doing. This chick is like being forced to almost.
But when she's like, well, my hobbies are finding delicious food and eating it. Like she still has that bubbliness to her.
The way she was moving when she was like, her face was blank.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seemed like she wasn't even there. What if she has?
It did. It reminded me again. I hate to mention animes that you haven't seen yet, but it reminded me of the main character with dark hair in Noir, who's a little girl, but she's a trained assassin. And like when the time comes for her to act like an assassin, like her eyes go blank and she like goes into autopilot, and she's like exactly the same way, like where she starts out like with hand-to-hand combat and goes crazy.
I didn't know any better. I heard you said, and that's kind of creepy that they like to use girls for that, but I guess this is Japan. But but I wouldn't, if I didn't know any better, I swear she might have a multiple personality. Or something in her brain that she turns on and off. It's
yeah,
like,
but that was the thing with the character from Noir, was like she was so programmed to be a killer, and her mind is wiped at the beginning of the episode. Spoilers. But
you have one job.
her mind is wiped, but her instincts are so built in. Her training is so built into her that it's like she goes into like ultra instinct mode or something like that, and like just goes off and like takes everything out. So, and then she finishes and she's like, "Why did I do that? How did I do that?" And has like an existential crisis about it. But it's the same basic concept that like someone that's like a complete badass but has no understanding why and is like a little upset about it. I mean, she's not upset about it. She seems fine with it, but like she also does at the end, she has that breakdown moment where she's like crying about what she did. And it's almost like she didn't remember what she did until it was over, because then it finishes and she starts crying about it.
Well, I mean, after he runs away, her arm goes limp. Like like if you see her arm, it literally drops. Like I remember seeing
but she
that.
Has a flashback. She has a flashback to the moment of killing the old woman, and we don't know that how it happened. We assume that she survived, but we don't know how that went down until that flashback hits. We're like, oh, okay, that's what we had going.
It's still crazy. I guess like she's gonna take Himiko's spot in terms of like the next powerful, like the next craziest character in the group. I guess that means she's also gonna die at some point.
Himiko wasn't crazy. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Would you?
She's a different type of crazy. So we'll see that.
Well, I mean, the whole characterization of her was that she was too normal to be crazy. I felt like she had like a public persona, but like who she really was underneath was like somebody with a lot of integrity.
You still have integrity to be crazy.
Sure can, but
I'm just
what
saying,
I'm
I'm
saying
not
is,
saying that she wasn't a bad crazy. I'm just saying that like, like she wasn't like to me she wasn't like a sane person. You know, most sane people have already died. That older guy even brings up the fact that most sane people are already dead. The only people that survive were the crazy ones.
yeah, because they're
I.e., she is crazy.
unpredictable.
She's just a
Do you know
different
what I
type of
mean by
crazy.
public persona, though?
The way other people view she puts on like a facade for other people to view her a certain way. I get that she's hiding a lot of damage on you, but
It can be a facade, but it can also be like, you know, when I make a joke and you have to explain to the viewers that like I'm just kidding and that's not who I really am. Do you know, you're like, hey guys, it's like you're explaining that I have a public persona and that's not how I really feel about things.
I mean, I mean, I know she's not the way she portrays us, but at the same time, I still feel like she's a type of crazy, and it isn't like a ah ha 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 crazy like Dingy is when he's in Chainsaw Man mode. I think she's a different type of like repressed crazy. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, she literally goes out of her way to to destroy her body to save them, and a sane person wouldn't do that. Just
Until
saying.
you think about the fact that she's just leaning into the fact that her life is not going to be that long anyway.
No, I probably she could survive that.
I'm a devil. She's like, I'm a devil hunter. I'm not going to die of old age. Let me just have my smokes.
I still feel like she's a type of repressed crazy. I mean, that didn't prevent her from dying, but I just sit there saying that she's a type of crazy. I don't think she's entirely sane. I think she's missing a few marbles.
She smokes, as weird as it sounds, I think the fact that she smokes is very defensible in this universe, because she's going to the graves of her fallen comrades every single week or month or something. Once a month, she visits like her fallen partners. She knows that like they're very expendable people. They all talk about it very casually. There's like one of them that says, "Yeah, I'm the only one left from my group," you know, and stuff like that. Like, there's a sort of like, come to terms with
like every time you say something, it's like you're really confirming the craziness part.
There's a sort of like coming to terms with the fact that you're like part of a suicide squad that has to come with like succeeding in this. And I think that like when they're talking about these things, like, and they're starting to accept that like they're working with devils, like they have to give up parts of their body to get going, and things like that. Their weapons literally shorten their lives and so forth. She's just like, look, like, cancer's not going to be the thing that takes us down, guys. Let's just smoke a cigarette, like, and use like the stress relief that it gives us to like chill out.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I still feel like just like, I'm not saying crazy is a bad thing. I'm just sitting there like, you know, they're all like, they all got their own quirks, and as much as she doesn't believe that she's crazy, she believes she's sane. I feel like she's a tiny bit crazy. It isn't like it isn't like I'm gonna completely kill myself situation. She did what she did. She gave her body to save people that she cared about. In a very weird sense, that's kind of crazy from a sane person's perspective. You know, a human being that doesn't have these problems, that their job is to save people. Most people, if you ask them if you had to choose between saving people or your dream, most people probably would sit there and say, I mean, even like the most like I guess the most genuine like good person, they probably sit there and tell you that their dream is to save people, so like they get to have the best of both worlds. But you know, and I don't know, I don't want to open that can of worms, but like,
right.
I would think most people would be selfish and say that I want to go after my dream. Now, whether that leads you to saving people, that's a side effect of your dream. But it's like, even the most genuine like selfless person is kind of selfishness in a way, because like their selfishness is to save people. So it's like in a very weird way, you can turn that genuinely good person's ideal into a selfishness. Like them being self-serving, like them saving somebody makes them feel good.
When you weigh her up against Chainsaw Man himself,
I mean, nothing really.
She's all right.
I just think I think she's a type of crazy. And ultimately, you need the type of crazy to survive in that world. Unfortunately, the type of crazy led to her grave.
I don't think she's going crazy. I think she's going sane in a crazy world.
She's still a type of crazy. Like I'm hammering into this.
That was just a troll. I just had to say that troll.
I'm just saying that like she's say this much. She's so crazy. She's sane compared to everybody else in the world.
She's just sane.
But with that, I'm gonna say we end this podcast here.
You say that she's sane, but I say she's super sane.
We're gonna end this podcast here. I guess we only have like how many episodes left? 3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 left. So I guess we'll either review all 3 or review 2. We'll
do you want to do 2 and like then 1 in a recap of the series, or do you want to do 3?
We'll see when we get closer to the date. I don't want to think about that right now. We might as well just do 3. We already did 3 at this point, but I'm not gonna like make it that definitive.
Okay.
Based on all this, we might as well finish it up. But I'm gonna just say maybe having that depending how.
You know, you the boss man. You the boss man. I go with you. I'm with him.